Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Walt here from Down the Block Sports, and today I want to talk about Major League Baseball. The trade deadline is August 2nd, and the Boston Red Sox are looking like sellers. What I want to talk about today is one of the candidates they have to trade, and that is JD Martinez, where he could sign and how he could help that team make a World Series run. Again, I'm Alec Walt. This is Down the Block Sports. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more of my exclusive content. Yes, the Boston Red Sox are not having a great season heading into the MLB Trade Deadline. JD Martinez, one of the best offensive players on their team, is looking like a trade candidate before the August 2nd deadline. Now, JD Martinez is still a very productive offensive player, but his numbers compared to usual are down in 2022. Through 85 games this season, he only has 9 home runs and 38 RBIs. His slugging and OPS are also below his career average. So yes, he is still a productive piece, but he is not playing up to expectation this year as 2 years past. Looking at his contract, he did opt into this season. He signed a 5-year contract back in 2018. So at the end of this upcoming season, he will be a free agent. So when you look at the JD Martinez market, this is strictly a rental for the rest of the 2022 season. Now, JD Martinez is someone who has playoff and World Series winning experience, as he was on the Red Sox when they won the World Series in 2018. So as someone who's also a very productive bat, he has experience in massive moments, and really any team in baseball could use JD Martinez in their lineup. So what I want to do today is look at some teams who should get on the phone with Chaim Bloom and add JD Martinez. Now, my number 4 team, and they're number 4 because you have them in rumors for a lot of other players on the market, and that is the San Diego Padres. Now, yes, they are in the Juan Soto market, but if they can't get Juan Soto now, they need to find that piece that's going to help them win a championship. Another player we have heard is Wilson Contreras. Another option I believe they should go after is JD Martinez. Now, Fernando Tatis Jr., who is expected to return. They have some other solid depth pieces, but when you look at the Padres, they could really use that power bat. Luke Voit has been okay this year. You know, he has 13 home runs, really isn't blowing the doors off with anyone here. But, you know, when I look at the Padres, if they need a rental bat and they can't get someone like a Juan Soto or, you know, the Wilson Contreras market has way too many bidders, going after a JD Martinez to just add depth in this lineup for this World Series run makes a ton of sense. I mean, you know, they have, again, you know, Will Myers, who's currently injured, a Eric Hosmer, guys like that who don't really take this offense to another level. Now, JD is definitely not having a down year compared to years past, but putting him behind a Machado in this lineup would add a ton of depth and help some of those guys deeper in the order. So I have them at 4 because they're rumored for other players, but the Padres using JD as an option to fill out this order if they can't go after some of the other bigger names on the market, in my opinion, would make a lot of sense. Number 3 is the St. Louis Cardinals. Talk about a team that could use another bat. You know, you have Arenado and Goldschmidt, 2 of the better offensive players in the league, and I think JD would complement them great deeper in the order. Now, obviously, he would have to play DH, and that would take some at-bats away from Albert Pujols, but Pujols is awful against righties, and let's be real here. You know, if you want to win a World Series with Pujols in his final year as some of the other veteran players on this team, adding someone who's won a World Series really isn't a bad idea. Cardinals are one of the best defensive teams in baseball. The Cardinals are definitely could use a pitcher, but adding another bat in this order is not a bad idea. And yes, Yepez is another guy who was productive there in that DH spot. They have some pieces they can move around due to just sheer depth on the pro roster. But if I'm St. Louis and I can add someone who can be an everyday DH to be a true impact bat in the middle of the order behind, you know, some guys like O'Neill and Carlson and Arenado and Goldschmidt, I know it's not in that specific order, but why the hell not? I see no reason for them to want to do it. You want to win a World Series with Yachty? You want to win a World Series with Waino? I think you need to add someone who can make a serious impact in this order. And going after a rental like JD makes a lot of sense. Get him for this final year. Try and win a World Series. If it works out, maybe you make a deal in the offseason. Who knows? But if it's about winning a World Series now, there may not be many rental bats at the DH position who could be a better option right now for the St. Louis Cardinals. Number 2 is a team that has already been rumored for him, and that is the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers are one of the best teams in Major League Baseball. They're a team on a year-to-year basis is competing for a world championship, and they're a team that's dealing with some injuries and could use some depth in the lineup. Max Muncy has not lived up to expectations. Neither has guys like Cody Bellinger. When you look at the Los Angeles Dodgers, their key guys are obvious. They're some of the best players in baseball. You have, Freddie Freeman, the former Boston Red Sox, who also won a World Series with JD Martinez in 2018, and Mookie Betts, Trey Turner, one of the best shortstops in Major League Baseball. But, Chris Taylor's on the IL. Max Muncy's hitting 160 on the season, really not making a huge impact in the lineup. I mentioned Cody Bellinger. He's hitting 205. Going after someone who could provide some pop behind what's arguably some of the best core players in the lineup in Major League Baseball with some of the players I mentioned earlier, the Dodgers makes a lot of sense. I think the Dodgers will compete for a championship, and we all know Justin Turner will get a big hit, or, Max Muncy could turn it on. Cody Bellinger, we saw last year, turn it on in the playoffs. But, going after a bat in a league where, the Mets are going to be competitive. The Braves, we all know, are going to be competitive. Every team I've mentioned so far is in the National League. Think about it. For every single team I've mentioned, and I'll even mention before at one, you trade for JD Martinez, you're preventing everyone else in the National League from being able to do it. And I think it makes a ton of sense for the Dodgers. They love to go after rentals. They're always aggressive on the trade market. They've made trades in the past already with Chaim Bloom, as Andrew Friedman and Bloom have a relationship back with their days with the Tampa Bay Rays. Dodgers want a bat? You have to think they're going to get on the phone with the Boston Red Sox and bring in another guy who's won a World Series. That was a theme for this offseason when they made some moves. And that's something JD has on his resume and could help the Dodgers. My last team, everyone knows they're buying, and that's the New York Mets. The Mets are filthy. They're getting Jacob deGrom back. They have Max Scherzer back. They're a team that has some of the most talented players. Pete Alonso's having a filthy year. Francisco Lindor's a stud. There's really not a hole in their roster outside of DH. And when you look at the DH market, I don't think there's one better on the market right now than JD Martinez. Think about slotting him in a lineup. You look at the Mets team, I mentioned the World Series experience. There's not a ton of guys on this team that have it. Now, Max Scherzer does, who is someone who will be more on the pitching side, but offensively, that's something they should really consider going after. He's not a guy that gets really rattled in tough environments. Again, you're taking him away from some of the other contending teams in the National League, as I do believe more National League teams will be interested in JD than some teams in the American League based on just how current DH positions stand with some of these teams that the Red Sox could be trading with. But, Pete Alonso's a stud. Mets have everything they need, but they could really use that one more bat to play DH every single day. And we've seen JD do it before. He can be that productive bat, and he would add some serious depth in front of some of the better offensive players in the league. Marte's a stud. Nimmo. They're likely going to go after someone to play catcher. Jeff McNeil, Eduardo Escobar. They have guys who can run around the bases. They have guys who can be productive offensively. But that final bat could be JD Martinez. Heck, throw Christian Vasquez in the trade, because we heard that before already. The Mets could really finalize their World Series roster by getting on the phone with Chaim Bloom and potentially acquiring JD Martinez. So again, my list: number 4, the San Diego Padres; number 3, St. Louis Cardinals; number 2, Los Angeles Dodgers. And my number 1 team that should call Chaim Bloom for JD Martinez is the New York Mets. What do you think of the market for JD Martinez? Who do you believe should get on the phone with Chaim Bloom and make a trade? Feel free to give me your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more of my exclusive content. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you very soon.